Ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
Naomi, I'm going to start with you. We had Labor Secretary Lori Chavez on yesterday. She talked to Chris Cuomo. She defended the tariffs. Here's a little bit of what she said.
I can tell you this, the president is focused on protecting the American worker through these tariffs. Fair trade practices are important to the American worker as well.
In the past, Democrats have been for tariffs. What's changed this time around?
Well, I think let's just start off with the fact there's minimal tariffs, and it's usually based on some sort of trade agreement. This is a different situation in which Donald Trump decided to declare economic warfare on the entire world order, and it's going to cause a global recession. I think that most economists, as of this point, can agree to that. And it's going to affect not just your pocketbooks at home, but really the way that we as a country engage with our allies. You're seeing it with Canada. Canada has aggressively pushed back. They've received the hardest of the tariffs at this point. China is seeing it not right now, but in the years coming, going to essentially give them more power. So if this was something about reacting against China, as Donald Trump likes to say, that's not what China experts are saying, and that's not what economists are saying. China is going to win in this situation.
Well, and what we've learned since World War II is you typically don't go to war with trade partners,
right,
which I think is an important factor. Very quickly, we're taking a live look right here in New York. This is one of the anti-Trump rallies going on across the country. This is live in New York City. It's a rainy day here in the Big Apple. A lot of people have certainly showed up. All right, Noelle, we saw the reaction to the tariffs from the stock markets. $6 trillion wiped out in 48 hours. Is the administration doing enough to defend its decision? Because now even some Republicans on the Hill are being vocal about this.
Yeah, I mean, when you start seeing dips in the market like that, you are concerned. You've got 401ks. It's not anything that you take nonchalantly. But if you voted for Donald Trump, you trust Donald Trump. You trust that he's going to have your back. And there are 3 words to the countries that do not like these tariffs, which they don't: call the president. Call the president and negotiate it. He's open for business. He's open for negotiation. And you have to look at the mindset of Donald Trump and separate it from politics and separate it from Republican and Democrat and look at him as a CEO of America, someone that's taking the United States of America, trimming the fat, looking for practices that are unfair. And the tariffs pinpointed, he thinks, are unfair, so he's trying to negotiate that.
But should the federal government be run like a business?
Well, I think that we're getting ready to find out, and I think that this is part of his negotiation, is to throw it out there and see and make them sweat so that they're going to have to deal. Because, look, their citizens are going to be hammering mad. They're going to be furious about the tariffs as well. So they're going to be pushing on their government to come to the table and call Donald Trump and say, we're ready to negotiate. He did it with our foreign adversaries, with Russia and the Ukraine and, getting hostages home. So he's used this tactic with foreign adversaries, and it's worked. So now he's doing it with the economy.
And Israel and Vietnam already saying they want to come to the table, yes, and that's very quickly.
Yes.
Earlier today, we spoke with Amy Parnes. She's a senior political correspondent for The Hill. She's author of the new book, Fight: Inside the Wildest Battle for the White House. I started reading this book. It is so interesting. Let's play a little bit of what she said happened behind the scenes during the campaign.
They were clearly concerned with the optics around him. And then we have other insight from people who actually came face to face. Eric Swalwell, a congressman from California, who has to cue him and remind him who he is. And that's kind of stunning because he actually ran against him in 2020.
There's a lot I was learning from that book. How are Democrats reacting to all the insight we're getting?
I think there's a lot of Democrats who are publicly reacting, saying we need to move on, we need to stop talking about our problems. And then internally, I think there are Democrats who are really struggling with the future of the Democratic Party. This is a great book. Amy Parnes and Jonathan Allen have been esteemed reporters for NBC. Shattered was a great book after the 2016 election. They're very well sourced. From what I'm hearing, the Obama administration, the folks coming out of the Obama administration are very defensive about how he appears in this book.
Because he wasn't exactly endorsing Kamala.
He was not exactly endorsing Kamala, and there's also criticism, and it's rightfully so, because this is what DNC members say, that he abandoned the DNC. He created this thing called Organizing for America, and it spun off on its own, didn't accomplish much more than the initial healthcare fight, which was very important. And then the people who ran the DNC and OFA, Organizing for America, moved on to Hillary Clinton's campaign, failed. And then they moved on to Kamala Harris's campaign and failed. And that is why Ken Martin is the DNC chair now, because DNC members, these are not all progressives, these are not all Bernie Sanders people, they knew that there needed to be institutional reforms. So what this book is doing is saying, you know, what really needs to be said out loud, and the same folks are being defensive, the same consultants want to keep their jobs. It's a billion-dollar industry, and they gotta let go. We gotta start doing things the right way, which is organizing on the ground and learning from our mistakes. But if you keep the same people in power that got you to where you are today, you're just gonna have another round of this in 4 years, and we're staring at fascism. That's what these consultants basically gave us.
No, I'll give you the last word.